Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to be doing yoga for back pain. So grab your mat and I'll meet you there. Hi guys, so let's come to a comfortable seated position. So if you sit like this and your spine is quite rounded, it's really good to sit up onto something, either a pillow, a bolster, just anything that can raise your hips up. It just kind of lengthens out your spine a little bit. So just do that if you find that you're starting to arch forward. So comfortable seated position, I'm going to roll the shoulders back. Let's take a nice big inhale and sigh it out. Let's do 2 more of these. So inhale, and 1 more. Okay. Right, so let's get started. So let's turn to the long side of our mat, so if we're not already there. Take the right leg out long, the left leg is going to come into the thigh. So you want to try to bring your heel up as far as it can go. If you have any knee pain, loosen off out of it. If you can't get it that far, it's absolutely fine to keep it a little bit lower down. And if you do want, you can always put a block or something under your knee just to stop the weight of it kind of pulling down, if you feel like that might help. You can also stay sat up on a bolster or whatever you were on to start with. Okay, so we're going to inhale the arms up, turn your torso so you're over your right leg, and then fold forward. So the toes of your right leg are pushing up towards the sky, making sure you haven't locked out your knee. So try not to really push your knee into the mat here. Try and make length in your spine. So with every inhale, think lengthen. Every exhale, think fold forward a little bit more. So you're trying to think nose to toes rather than head to knee. Okay. And just as long as you're feeling a sensation somewhere here, then that's absolutely fine. It doesn't matter if you're up here, if you're down here. You know, obviously just try to keep the length in your spine and try to fold in a little bit more. So just starting to work on the lower back, on opening up this area. Just stretching it out. I would love to know your comments after this practice as well. Focus in on your breath, nice even inhale and exhale. Your next inhale, come up. We're going to turn our bodies to face over the left leg now. Right hand is going to come on the right knee or the right shin. Left hand is going to come up. Nice inhale. As you exhale, try to turn your body over the side body over your right leg. So your right side body is kind of contracting while your left body is lengthening out. So just a little side stretch here. It's really nice to have your right arm on the inside of your right leg, just to give you a little bit more momentum to kind of open your chest up to the ceiling. Just so that you're not collapsing inwards as well. You want your chest nice and open here. So just going to move the back in a few different directions today. And obviously if you do have really sharp pains anywhere, then stop. Okay, pain is not good. A sensation, a stretching, a feeling is okay. As long as it's not pins and needles, it's not cramping, it's not any sharp shooting pains. Inhale your arms up, exhale, release. So let's take that over to the other side. So left leg comes long, I'm just going to switch sides. Right knee comes in, or right foot comes to the left thigh. Inhale your arms up, turn your torso to face over the left leg, exhale, forward fold. Toes point up to ceiling. Make sure that your knee is not pushing down to the floor. Another way to do this is to put a pillow or something underneath your knee so that it's really raised up a little bit, so it's slightly bent. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Try to keep length in your spine. So remember, every inhale, lengthen. Every exhale, just fold a little bit deeper. And just be really conscious of your body during this practice and listen to what your body is telling you. Remember, any sharp shooting pains, then stop, release out of it. And obviously, if you do suffer from really bad back pain, it's always worth speaking to your GP. I'm not a doctor. I'm just trying to help with a few stretches that I know. And inhale, come up. Turn your torso to face over your right leg. Left hand comes on the inside of the left leg. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, just fold a little bit further onto the left leg, keeping that chest nice and open. So you've got a nice stretch on the right side of the body this time. So left side is contracting, right side nice and open and stretched. This is definitely the side that I feel it. You will find that different sides will feel completely different as well, especially if, like me, you are a mum and you're always holding your child on one side, then you will definitely feel this in different places. So trying to keep the chest nice and open. Again, make sure that it's just a stretching sensation and not a painful one. You don't want to be feeling any pain. And coming back up to center. Let's bring both of the legs long. In fact, bend the knees up. Fingertips to the mat. Lift your feet up off the ground so your lower legs are parallel to the floor. Point your toes. If this feels comfortable, try to lengthen out through your spine. You can lift your hands up. Okay, so boat pose. So just holding this, trying to lengthen through the spine, really turn on your core muscles here, get your core working. Really, really important for your back is to have a strong front. Okay, core muscles are really, really good for your back. And then releasing your toes down to the floor. Lengthen out your left leg, keep your right leg bent. Pull your right foot up as far as you can to your groin. Right hand is going to come on the inside of your leg. You're going to fold forward over that left leg as far as you can. If you can't get very far, and this is as far as you can go, that's fine. Maybe you want to stay hugging the knee. If you think you can get a bit further, come down, wrap the right hand around the right thigh. So the back of your hand comes to your right thigh. Left hand can come behind. If you can clasp your hands and then lean forward over that left leg. So this is called sage forward bend. So it's kind of a forward fold, but you're also binding your hands. If you can't bind your hands, that's fine. Maybe you want to just come forward. Maybe you want to grab hold of that leg. Find whatever position feels good for you. Okay, everybody's body is going to be different here. We just don't want any sharp pains anywhere. Okay, and releasing the bind, coming back up, lengthen out both feet, bend in the left leg, bring the left leg in. Let's do the same on the other side. So leaning forward over that right leg. If you can, take the bind, or take whatever position felt good for you, and then fold forward over that right leg. And don't forget to breathe. If you can't breathe in these positions, then you've gone too far. So just loosen off out of it slightly. And then releasing the hands, fingertips back to the mat, come back into that boat pose. Legs, lower legs parallel to the mat, hands up by your sides if you can. Lengthen through the spine, switch on them core muscles. Focus in on your breath here. And then lower the knees. We're going to use our hands just to come up onto our knees. So now we're on our toes and kind of like a closed squat. Bring your heels down to the mat as you do. Lift up into a forward fold. So your legs are long, maybe slight bend in the knees. Really release the whole upper back here. So your hands can come to the mat, maybe they're on your shins. But just really loosen the spine and loosen the neck. Maybe shake your head yes and no. Make sure it's nice and loose. Every exhale, just see if you can release a little bit more. And then very slowly roll all the way up to standing. Head is the last thing to come up. Okay, turn in to face the long side of your mat. Feet are going to be parallel to each other. Hands on hips, bring your elbows in towards each other, behind. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward and lengthen the spine. When you can't go any further, lower the hands to the mat, release the back. So forward fold in a wide-legged position now. If your hands can touch the mat, maybe you can bring them in line with your feet. Again, just really releasing the upper body. We don't want any tension here. Maybe a slight bend in the knees again, so you're not locking them out. Then bringing the hands out in front of you, lengthen the spine. Heel toe your feet in until you come to a squat position. Then lower your bum back down to the mat and just have a wriggle. Get into the correct position for you. If you need a pillow or a blanket rolled up underneath your heels, then do so. If your heels don't touch the floor. And then you can bring your hands together, elbows against your knees, and open up your knees a little bit more. Lengthen through the spine, okay? So from the side here, you want nice length, okay? No rounding. So if you're rounding, maybe you need to have something under your heels, or maybe you even need to come up. So find whatever position feels good for you. Okay, and then bring in the left hand to the mat. You can either open the right arm up, so you come in just to this open position. If you want, you can wrap your left arm behind, right arm behind, and grab your hands if that feels comfortable for you. Just try to keep even weight in your feet if you can. So actively try to still open up the hips here. And release, come back to center for a moment. Lengthen through the spine. Really, really strong one for your legs here as well. It is really good for your back. Right hand comes to the mat, either open up the left hand or wrap it around, see if you can take the bind. Maybe looking up towards the left. Then releasing that, come back to center. Okay, now however you want, we're going to make our way to downward facing dog. So just releasing the knees to the mat. Spread the fingers, tuck the toes, hover the knees, belly to thighs, and hips to sky. If you want to keep your knees slightly bent here, just so that you can lengthen out through the spine. Sorry, that's my postman. So the goal here is to bring a lot of length in the spine. So instead of trying to get your heels to the mat, keep your knees bent, really push your stomach towards your thighs here. And then coming forward, drop the knees down to the mat, sit back onto your heels. Bring your left hand behind. I'm just going to shuffle forward slightly. Left hand behind. Your right arm is going to sweep across the left side body. And then lift your hips and bring your right arm overhead. Exhale, come back down. Sweep both the hands in front. Right hand comes behind. As the left hand comes up, lift your hips Inhale. Exhale, come back down, sweep the hands over to the left. Inhale, right arm comes up overhead. Exhale, come down, just one more on this side. Left arm up. Release down. Toes together, knees apart, come forward into your child's pose here. So really relaxing the whole upper back, let your head and your heart sink into the mat. Coming back out, just walk the hands in, shift your bum over to one side so you can kick your legs out in front, and slowly lower all the way down onto your back. Just roll out your knees, maybe circling them one way and then the other. And then taking your left leg long, hug your right knee in. Arms can come to a T. Your right leg is going to come over the left side, and you can either stay looking up towards the ceiling or you can look over your right shoulder. But wherever you are, just really relax the body here. You can use your left hand on your right knee if you want. Don't pull it down, but it can just rest there just so it doesn't flop back up. And just relax here. If this feels too much, you can always put a block or something underneath your knee so there's not as much pressure on your back here. And again, just listening to your body. If this feels painful, obviously it's not right for you, so come out. And then back to center. Right leg goes long, hug in the left knee. Left knee comes over the right side. And again, looking over your left side now. Closing down the eyes. Don't want any tension in this pose. So again, if it feels too much, maybe you want a block or something underneath your knee. And then coming back up to center. Okay. So now is the time that you can pause the video to take your Shavasana. But before you do, I want to just show you a few different versions of the Shavasana that you can do. So obviously you want to protect your back in these poses. So a really, really good one is to put your bolster or pillows or something underneath your knees, just that when you lay down, it kind of takes away that arch in the lower back. So that is one that's going to be amazing for your lower back here. Another thing you can do is to come into a supported bridge. So when you come into your bridge pose, put a block on the lowest setting normally underneath your lower spine, and you can rest like this. And this one for me is definitely my favorite. Always struggle to come out of this one because it just feels so good. And another thing you can do is put blocks and bolsters under like your chest, and then the block obviously for your head. So you could do all of this together. You know, you can put something underneath your, so that's not really working, is it? Can't find where my block's meant to go. There. So you can put a bolster or something underneath your knees, as well as, you know, this underneath your chest and your head. So just find whichever variation feels good for you. Pause the video. Please take a Shavasana. Even if it's just for 1 or 2 minutes, it will be really, really good for your back. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I really hope that helps. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more videos, and I will see you next week. Namaste.